Hi everybody! Alright, I'm making this video to talk specifically about clairsentience, so to have a heightened spiritual feeling ability. So I've got this going on, and it's kind of I don't know, this might be a little wishy-washy for me to describe, but I'm gonna try my best, okay? So what's it like to be able to feel beyond? So when I do spiritual healing work, I actually experience entering someone's spiritual atmosphere. So when I enter into your spiritual atmosphere, I actually feel what it feels like. Sometimes it feels soft, sometimes it feels quiet, sometimes it feels stagnant, sometimes it's sticky, sometimes it's terrifying. It really is a reflection of how you're feeling about yourself, how you're feeling about your life. And for instance, people who suffer from anxiety, it ends up being a spiritual atmosphere that really is filled with a lot of sort of acidic wisdom bubbles. So you enter in and you're suddenly like, oh my God, I'm in the midst of terror. So you're inhaling and experiencing, sensing, feeling their terror, their anxiety, their fears. And it's overwhelming because now you are also feeling their fear. So for me to do the type of work I do, I get to feel how you feel in order to accomplish it. So how do you develop these skills, and do you want to? You have to ask yourself, do you actually want to feel? Some of the things that I feel are not enjoyable to feel. But on the other hand, some of the things I feel are absolutely extraordinary. So you get to take the good with the bad, right? So some of the things I feel can be off the hook. Like, you could enter into somebody's spiritual atmosphere, and they themselves as a human being may not have an awareness of their spiritual caliber. So you can enter in and actually experience quite a profound soul. And you can experience what is their soul even going through transitions and transformations, wanting to raise their vibration. And you too get to feel yourself literally lifting up like a rocket ship into outer space. But is it outer space? Is it the spiritual infinite? What is it? You're going upward, and you feel the raising of a vibration is sort of like the super, I don't know, the super exciting moment, and you just feel yourself just going up, up, up and away, and it's so exciting and so fun. And so you feel that, right? So in order for me to comprehend you, I have to feel you. I have to experience you. I have to know what you're like from your energetic reflection. How can we actually understand each other when we're not choosing to experience each other's souls, you know? So as a human being, I walk around day after day, you know, as a human being. I don't choose to go into every single person's spiritual atmosphere that I see. It actually takes effort. I have to switch my experience in order to accomplish it. So I have to be, you know, I call it a meditative state, but I don't know, it's like an on or off switch. So for me to enter into somebody's spiritual atmosphere, for one, I want them to actually want me in their spiritual atmosphere. I don't want to enter somebody's spiritual atmosphere if they don't want me to be there. It's none of my business, and I just, you know, I don't have time for it. It's an energy drainer. It can be an energy drainer. So I don't want to be in everybody's spiritual atmospheres because it can be an energy drainer. It's work to accomplish it. So for me to do the work that I do, I sort of relax, right? I develop and formulate an intention. And then I allow my spirit guides to show me, to take me. So it's like a switch gets flipped, and then I start to project and then see, feel, and experience you. And then I get to describe what I see while I'm also channeling energy into your spiritual atmosphere. The entire time, even when I'm talking, I'm doing things. So how can I be doing things and talking at the same time? It's sort of like, sometimes you can be talking to somebody and then really you're actually thinking about, you know, what a lame-o day it's been, and, you know, tomorrow it's just going to be a busy week and yada yada, and your mind's kind of rambling while you're also talking to them, while you're simultaneously thinking about, you know, that hot guy, or I mean, I don't know, but you can have multiple thoughts and experiences going through your head while you're just simultaneously just talking to somebody. I can also do that. So I can just talk to you while I'm simultaneously doing lots of other things in your spiritual atmosphere. So let me see what else. So then once I'm in your spiritual atmosphere, my spirit guides showcase what is the most important wisdom, what is the most valuable space, I get questions, I'd like to know this or that, and my goal is always to meet your needs, but sometimes spirit will take me and it's like, I know you asked for this, but nothing even, this is what ended up coming. And all I can do is share what spirit shares with me, because if I don't share what spirit shares with me, then I'm not actually doing my job. Sometimes what spirit shares with me is not something I want to tell people. I mean, it can be very, very weird. The last thing I want is to meet a really sweet individual and tell them, well, I kind of, I saw this really freaky past life, or, just whatever it could be. I mean, spirit will share all kinds of weird stuff, but all I can do is just share, because if I'm not sharing what spirit shares with me, then what am I doing, And sometimes what spirit shares is a little bit, inappropriate for what our level of appropriate conversation, or what is acceptable in society, and how do we interact with each other. There's a certain level of unwritten rules about what you tell somebody. It's kind of weird when you have these random sexual scenes that come up, and it's like, I don't have any judgment about anybody, and those do come up because a lot of us, there are a lot of our energetic needs are sexual. A lot of our energetic needs are emotional. A lot of our energetic needs are deep, and they go deeper and deeper beneath the surface than we will even acknowledge. And so sometimes that comes up, and sometimes I'll share those scenes, and sometimes I'll just, let them pass through and then kind of describe, there's some sexual energy taking place here. And then I go into if spirit wants me to go into detail, then I will go into detail. But if not, I'll just kind of brush past it. I'm checking with them all the time. Should I tell them exactly what I'm seeing, or should I just reference its sexual energy that I'm experiencing right now and then move on? So you see, there's some complications to what I do, because sometimes what I see, I don't describe detail for detail of exactly what is going on in the scene, because sometimes you just don't need to know that in order for the healing energy to be effective. And so, all right, Spirit's reminding me of a scene. I was doing some energy work for a friend, and it happened to be, there was sort of like a giant female that sort of manifests into the scene or the image. And obviously there's some sort of sexual energy and just a higher, there was a healing of a different kind, right? So, this is totally inappropriate. Like, for me to even tell you this story feels really inappropriate. But at the same time, this is exactly what I saw. I literally saw a massive, giant, naked, beautiful woman with her legs open up, her body fully exposed, and then I saw him going into her body in the female place. And it was sort of like, what am I supposed to make of this? What does this mean? I don't mean to see this. I don't mean to see this very, sexual display of a massive woman and a man, and it's sort of strange, right? So how do you tell somebody something like this? I lost my arm. You just have to accept that these images are coming for a reason, and that they will resonate with the person that is experiencing the energy work. And, as human beings, we're kind of like, we can be baffled and like shocked by some things that we hear, but sometimes, for whatever reason, it's the most appropriate version of wisdom that I'm supposed to tell you. So let's see what else. I'm sort of talking to my spirit guides on how to talk more about specifically feeling. So obviously you can feel sexual energy and then see images related to it. You can have, spiritual feelings can be really overwhelming and kind of burdensome sometimes when they're more on the sort of terror spectrum of the experience, because it feels very gross. Demons feel very gross. They feel absolutely disgusting. But they're the souls that need hugs. They're the souls, they're like the abandoned kids, the baby in the garbage that nobody wanted to keep. Those are what demons are like. They're broken love, and love, the only way for them to experience love again is for you to actually hug them and hold them and accept them. And they will terrify you. They will scream. They will resist. They will create illusions in your mind that you are not helping them. they're very manipulative, they're very extraordinary, right, in their sort of evil nature. But the truth is, no, you're just a baby in a garbage that nobody wanted, and I want to give you a hug. And that's how you heal them. That is how you help them feel better. That is how you help them transcend and enter back into the light again. And so that too is part of what I experience, is that type of energy. So clairsentience, you feel this stuff, and it can feel overwhelming, but then it also can feel beautiful. You could feel the colors of the rainbow. You could actually feel what blue feels like on so many different levels. You could feel the darker side of blue or the lighter side of blue. You know, what is blue? What does a color feel like? You know, so part of it is too, when I feel things, how do I describe the way it feels? Because some of the feelings I get aren't actually associated with human feelings. So how do I define it? I try to come up with a storyline to help explain. Well, it kind of feels like, you know, when your coffee burns your tongue and now you can't taste food anymore, and it's like a numbing sensation, and you want to eat ice cream and taste it. That's kind of what it feels like. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do I describe how this feels? I don't have a clue. It kind of reminds me of this time when, and that's the best I can tell you of what it feels like. So that too is part of having clairsentient abilities, is feeling things beyond anything you've ever felt before. So you can feel really extreme, scary, and you can feel really delightful, heavenly feelings. And then feelings that you're not even familiar with. So let's see what else maybe Spirit has. They're wanting me to talk more about the sort of uncomfortable aspects about sometimes this is really, they're smiling at me, and they're kind of delighting in the fact that I'm so challenged to be honest with, you know, it's hard as a human being to tell people some of the things that you see. It's very hard. And they're really delighted in the fact that I am choosing to trust in them, A, and just accept, B, that what I see, even though it's not really appropriate to say to somebody, it is actually appropriate for the spiritual healing, even if we can't really understand why am I specifically seeing these things. There's symbolisms, there's meaning, there's an energy pattern associated with why I'm seeing this. There's a sexual vibration, there's whatever going on, and this is how the experience is had by me. This is what I'm seeing, this is how I'm hearing it, this is how I'm feeling it, and now here's the package, and then I'm giving it to your soul and helping your soul to release whatever this is. Whatever this is, it is transforming into, it looks like this, it sounds like this, it feels like this, and I'm hearing it like this. And this is the best I can tell you, and that's as best as I know. And so part of my job is to tell people the most random stuff ever, and then, you know, at this point in this stage, when I first started doing this, I was just like, oh my gosh, I must have gotten it wrong. I must be seeing things wrong. Maybe I'm having a bad day, that I just, you know, maybe I'm worth seeing myself instead of seeing somebody else. I've done this so many times that anymore there is no question, there is no mistaking, there's no accidents, there's no screwing anything up. You actually always do see exactly as you are intending. So when my intentions are, I want to see more about you, that is always what I will see. That is always what the wisdom is. It has nothing to do with anything else. It is always about you. My spirit guides are talking to me about energy shifts and energy changes. This is really important part of the conversation, because this is something I contemplate a lot. So we go through, you know, each and every month we seem to be feeling and experiencing the world differently. And some months feel energetically a little more taxing and trying on us emotionally and mentally. And then other months it's like, man, I just feel like I'm awesome. I feel like I'm just rumbling through, and I'm just on top of it. And then you just hit a month where it's just like, okay, I feel paranoid. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm having weird emotional bouts. I feel inconsistent. So you have these like massive energy shifts, and they've been especially hard for me since June. But some months are really easy, and some months are definitely not. And so I can feel these energy changes taking place in the universe and taking place with humanity. At least this is how it feels to me. Obviously, my spiritual DNA and the date I was born and my biological makeup, etc., is going to have me translating energy different than other people's bodies will. But this is how it feels to me. And so when it's interesting because the dates that people's readings and spiritual healings fall on, it's like this is a really interesting time to be doing this type of energy work because ... I've been getting a lot of the same requests at the same time. They're all piling in. It's like, wow, I get a lot of people that need demonic release, all just jumbled into one bag. Like 1 week, I just do a lot of these. And then another week, I just do a lot of psychic senses work. And then another week, it's just sort of, it's weird how they package together at different times because it's talking to me about when this service was requested. It was at a specific time in the universe when people were really feeling sensitive to developing their spiritual senses or whatever it might be, and I'm getting a lot of them in a row. And then the date that I actually complete the work, I'm always interested in seeing what the energy pattern is because that also resonates with everything is done at the right time. When you order a request from me, you're ordering it exactly when you are meant to. And when the work is completed, it is always completed exactly when it is meant to. There's no mistaking. And so that too is sort of part of it, is how the energy patterns and energy shifts of our human consciousness as one. You take 8 billion people on a planet, you blend them together into one consciousness, one human consciousness. But yet we're all individuals experiencing all the different various parts of one human conscious reflection. But we're all experiencing it different, some similarities there with how, there's patterns of, what are the inspirations at different times, at different months and different energy shifts, So I'm always sort of taking that into account too as an interesting time for certain reading requests that just pile in. You get a lot of pattern that a lot of these kind this week and a lot of these kind this week. And it's sort of funny how that happens. So my spirit guides are saying, so you think human beings are actually sensing the energy without realizing it? And I say, yeah, absolutely. We're all sensing it. We all sense the energy. And we're always reacting to it exactly as we were meant to be. It was already known we were going to react or behave a certain way. And so whether we realize it or not, that does prove something to me. That people are developing their psychic abilities and they all want to do it at the exact same time and get a lot of the similar requests. It's kind of funny how it all falls into place. You are already psychic. See, you people, you're all in the same group together. I need to hook you guys up, and this could be like a little pod of 4 random people who don't even know each other that all wanted to develop their psychic senses at the same time. There's something to that. You're all on the same page. You need to be helping each other. I don't know. It's just kind of funny how that works. My spirit guides are saying again, so you're telling me that human beings actually have sensory abilities, they just don't acknowledge it. And I say, yeah, absolutely. Saying, so how do we help people discover their sensory abilities and how do we help them develop that? They're saying it's really valuable to have clairsentience. It's really valuable to sense and feel because it is a reflection of compassion or empathy. And the more empathic people there are on this globe, the more nurturers and healers there are for those who are struggling to get a hug, right? Like demons and the thrown out baby. I mean, they need hugs. And there's a lot of human beings that need hugs too. And empathic people know how to find those veins and know how to sense out those experiences and have compassion. Even compassion for people we would not have compassion for. For instance, one of the biggest discoveries that I've had is discovering the soul journey, and soul journeys where the soul actually sort of breaks away from the unconditional loving reflection and explores the illusionary love reflection. So they explore, murder and just destruction of others and for self-benefit of all different kinds. They could be physically destructive towards others, mentally, emotionally destructive towards others for self-benefit. And they can go on an extreme level as being terrorists, right? Or they could go on a very mild level as, I really love this person, but they are terrorizing my life. They're very selfish. They're not choosing to understand my feelings, and they're blaming me for everything and making me feel guilty when I really shouldn't feel guilty. So on a very mild level, you're letting a soul that you love, and they love you back. They just have these sort of nuances that they just can't see themselves in the mirror yet. But they too are exploring a disconnect from unconditional love because their behavior is not a reflection of unconditional love. So how do we help souls of all different kinds, at all different levels, of all different journey experiences? You have to see the soul, and you have to feel the soul, and you have to understand the many reflections that create a dynamic person in the now. So how do you, who are you as a human being? Who are you watching this video? Who are you? How would most people perceive you? That you was just walking around and, oh, there's that guy, or oh, there's that girl, or, maybe they don't see you at all. Maybe nobody really knows exactly what you've been through in your life. Maybe nobody really knows what you've seen. Just as this one person, this one human being in the now moment, but you take somebody who's empathic and who has the ability to actually enter into your spiritual atmosphere and have compassion for you, and the ability to see all of your sides, even sides where you hold shame, and sides where you're embarrassed, and sides where you're disappointed in yourself, and sides where you hate yourself, and sides where, and not think anything different. Just want to hug you and tell you, we're all struggling. We're all not perfect individuals. We're souls on a journey, and the more that we can come together in love and acceptance and appreciation of each other, the better this world can be. And then to tell somebody, not just at the level of the now reflection, this is how I see you in the now, and I really shared a lot of love with these parts of your identity to help you feel better mentally, emotionally, physically, sexually, whatever it might be. But then I also was able to experience something more dynamic about your infinite soul, and then share healing with that part too. So that way the love radiates on an infinite level from, past, present, and future. So it's always a part of you as a dynamic reflection of all of you. How many are there of you? How many conscious reflections are there of one human being? You're not just one, you're many. And so that's a big deal. It's a big part of a spiritual atmosphere. When I enter your spiritual atmosphere, how many different reflections are there that make up who and what you are? There's infinite numbers. There's infinite. I could do soul rebirth journeys on a person for the rest of their life and still not touch all their infinite reflections. But I can touch the ones that have the biggest impact in this now experience and really help them to thrive and grow beyond. And we just go from there. So, what else? Let me see what else. I'm just trying to make a video to talk more about this, just to bring more light to the subject and give people a feel of my personal experience with it. And then, it's just kind of a talking video. I'm just sort of asking my spirit guides if there's anything else to share about this, or maybe it's just sort of a this is what it's like kind of video, and not really sharing the tips on how to. Just waiting for, they're not really talking to me right now, so I guess I said all I needed to say. So all right, this is just a Abby talking video to talk about this specific experience, and I have a feeling a lot of people watching this video can relate, and there's a lot more empathic people out there, and we're usually kind of the shyer ones, or the emotional ones, or the ones who have sensitivities to depression and anxiety and different emotional challenges because we feel so much. That's kind of the common scenario with people who are empathic, is we feel so much, and then we feel the burdens of the world, and we feel. And when there's very little, when the love is not the strongest experience that we sense out, then we feel all of the negative energy, right? So what do you do when you're empathic? How do you avoid feeling the burdens of the world? There's something to this. You keep choosing to allow yourself to feel the love, and not to burden yourself with feeling too much of the heavy, dense, sorrowy feelings, because there's a lot of that out there. And if you feel it, choose to feel it too much, then it really starts to play a role on your, the caliber of your joy. And so you need to just keep choosing to trust that love is a part of all of this. It's a part of the bigger scheme of everything. Love is. I say this a lot of the time when I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed and too much feeling of people, too much feeling of just the contaminating energy. I just say love is. And I say, love is. That's it. I just say, love is. Love is. And I just repeat it. And then I allow myself to align with love is. And when I say that, I mean, love is all there is, was, and ever will be. Love is everywhere. Love is me. Love is I am. Love is in us all. Love is a part of the whole dynamic of everything. Even if it looks like a lot of sadness and feels like a lot of sadness, love is. Love is a part of all things, and love always will be. It's the illusion that feels the heaviest here, the illusion of the world, because I think there's a lot more love in this world than is really expressed. And so I'm just sort of waiting for the world and the energy and humanity and the one consciousness to sort of shift for the globe, for Mother Earth, for nature, for animals, for plants, for human beings, for the air, for the water, for the clouds, for the sun, I mean, it's a bigger universe than what is just, us. I mean, the soil particles, but there's something more to it because we're all connected, even connected to Mars and Venus and the sun and stars and, trillions of miles away. So I just say love is, and that helps. Let's see. So if you're empathic, just say love is. When you're feeling too sensitive, trust that there's love in all things, okay? I'm also pretty good at helping people who are empathic to sort of release that sort of dense, heavy energy that you can absorb like a sponge without meaning to. I can get that goo ball out of there and help you to start feeling lifted up and a part of the sunlight and the illumination. Because you being empathic means that you really have a bright star that you can share the love with many others and touch people's lives. It's a big deal. You need to be touching people's lives, not being the sponge that's absorbing all the goo ball of the world, but promoting yourself and opening up your mirror so the sun can be a beacon off of you and then radiate your light into all those around you. As empathic people, I think we can be really internalizing and not really share our depths as much as we should be because the world is just sort of, we feel the grossness, and so it's hard to really, I'm just going to wash everybody with my super Care Bear love, it's sort of like nobody wants a Care Bear. I'm just going to keep my Care Bear inside and people just live their lives, and I just humdinger of a world we live in and whatever. But we really need to start opening up, us empathic people, showing the Care Bears within and really starting to share the love, spread the love, and be the beacon of love that we can that changes the world. For ourselves too, for everybody around us and for ourselves, because we deserve to be happy as well, as much as everybody else on this planet. Imagine if you took 8 billion human beings and turned them into one human consciousness, and that human consciousness smiled. Imagine 8 billion people smiling every single day, and when they all blended together, the smile was still there. Wouldn't that be amazing? I would love to see the one human consciousness smile. And that's all. Just smile and radiate light and illumination and love and inspiration. And this world is at a point where it can really express a lot and change a lot and be a lot of things to support and nurture the planet and the living organisms on the planet, the animals and the people. All right, that's all I'm going to share for this video. I hope you found it helpful and enlightening and thought-provoking. If you're interested in experiencing spiritual healing with me or psychic wisdom, please visit my website at abbynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you for watching and supporting my channel.